Hey, how's it going? Over the last 12 months or so, I've been watching a trend among current and loyal Jehovah's Witnesses who post in internet forums and write me private messages or post comments on YouTube. And it has to do with the issue of whether or not Jesus Christ is Michael the Archangel. Now, in years past, when this issue was raised, Jehovah's Witnesses would vehemently defend the idea that they have that Jesus is Michael. They would post lots of scriptures and they would defend it tooth and nail. But recently, I would say that most active, loyal Jehovah's Witnesses aren't defending the doctrine. Instead, what they're doing is they're downplaying it. They're saying things like, well, maybe Jesus is Michael and maybe he's not, and it's really not all that important, and to us it's not really that big of a deal. Even though the Watchtower Society emphatically says that Jesus is none other than Michael the Archangel. Now, the reason that I think this is happening is because so much has been written about it, and there really is no scriptural support for Jesus being Michael. And I think most Jehovah's Witnesses have exhausted the scriptural references, and they themselves don't even really find them that convincing anymore. But here's what I'd like to say to you, Jehovah's Witnesses, that say that this issue really isn't all that important. It is important. It's very important. As I said, the Watchtower emphatically states that Jesus is Michael the Archangel. Now, Jesus in John chapter 8 says that if you don't know him, you don't know the Father. And the reverse is also true. If you don't know the Father, you don't know Jesus either. Now, is it important whether or not Jesus is Michael? Think about this for a minute and let this sink into your head before you just blurt out an answer or just dismiss it at hand. What you're saying is that the Watchtower Society might not know who Jesus is. Not only is it that they might not know who he is, they might actually be teaching falsely about who Jesus is. Now, how is it that that doesn't matter? Think about this. The Jehovah's Witnesses claim that they're God's channel of communication, yet they might not even know who God's Son is? How can you possibly reconcile that? And to make matters even worse, think about this for a minute. In 1919, the Watchtower says that Jesus came to them and appointed them as the faithful and discreet slave. If they might not know who Jesus is, isn't it possible that that spirit or whatever it was that was supposed to be Jesus that came to them and appointed them might not have even been Jesus? You have to admit that that's at least a possibility if they might not even know who Jesus is. See, it does matter, and it matters a great deal, and I hope you'll spend some time thinking about that. Because do you really want to follow an organization? And do you really want to preach and try to draw people to an organization who might not know who Jesus is? I hope you'll think about that.